welcome back everyone to part 3 of the Garage Project saga. So, the plan was simple. Build a wall, get some heat. But things, well, they took a very complex and you could say electrifying turn. Let's get into it.
So let's set the scene, right? The goal was super straightforward. Just divide the garage. He wanted to create a workshop area that he could actually heat, keep it above freezing year-round. Perfect for working on bikes or, and this is key, getting that snowplow tractor started when it's absolutely freezing outside.
But, right from the get-go, there were doubts. He even says he sometimes wonders if it was a good idea at all. And it makes sense, right? I mean, a wall isn't just a wall. It's a permanent barrier. It completely changes the whole dynamic of the space, how you can use it.
Okay, so doubts aside, the decision was made. Time to build a wall. Let's walk through how this thing went from an idea to an actual physical structure.
First things first, you gotta lay down the bottom plates for the wall. And check this out. That black stuff you see, that's bitumen tape. It's actually super important. It acts as a moisture barrier, stopping any dampness from the concrete floor from seeping into the wood frame and causing rot down the line. Smart move.
And once those plates were down, man, the frame went up in no time. The vertical studs just shot up, and just like that, boom! You've got a divided space. You can really start to see the workshop taking shape here.
But here's the thing. You build a wall, and you immediately create a new problem. How in the world do you get from one side to the other? Suddenly, you need a door. It's not optional anymore. It's essential.
So he framed an opening for a door, obviously. But a normal swinging door? No way. It would just eat up way too much valuable space in what's supposed to be a workshop. So now the question becomes, do you go with a sliding door or maybe some kind of lift-up door? That's a whole other puzzle, and we'll get to that later.
And just in case he was second-guessing this whole thing, winter came along to give him a pretty harsh reality check. Look at that. Snow is literally blowing in right under the main garage doors. Yeah, that right there is why you need a properly sealed, heated workshop.
All right, section 2. This is where things get interesting, because once he started putting the sheeting on the wall, he began to uncover some, let's call them crooked truths about how this garage was originally built. So for the side of the wall facing the cold, unheated part of the garage, he went with softwood plywood, and it was a really practical choice. It's way sturdier than something like OSB, but it doesn't have the high price tag of fancy birch plywood. Good middle ground.
But as soon as that plywood started going up, it became crystal clear that this garage was not built to perfect right angles. The floor sloped by over an inch from back to front, probably for drainage. Nothing was plumb, nothing was straight. It was a classic case of working with what you've got and adapting on the fly.
And this is where the project really starts to spiral. The new wall was now blocking the existing electrical wiring. And this wasn't just a small hiccup. It kicked off a massive, totally unplanned electrical overhaul.
It all began with this one outlet on this center post. The wall was going right through its path, so it had to go. And for a while, it was just hanging there. Kind of tells you everything you need to know about the electrical adventure that was just getting started.
Then there was the main light switch. It was now on the wrong side of the wall, in the unheated section, so that had to be moved. And you know how it is. While I'm at it, he decided to add a 3-phase power outlet. Total future-proofing for big, power-hungry tools, even though he couldn't even use it yet. Okay, so you gotta love the pragmatism here. The days were getting shorter, and he needed light to work. So what does he do? He rigs up a temporary connection for the switch in an open junction box. Is it up to code? Absolutely not. Did it get the lights back on so we could keep working? You bet it did.
Here's another bit of smart forward thinking. He installed a new main breaker right at the source where the power comes into the garage. This is a huge safety upgrade. Now, with a single flip of a switch, he can kill power to the entire building. Absolutely crucial for any future electrical work.
And the project just keeps expanding. While the weather was good, he decided to run wiring for a beefy 3-phase outlet on the outside of the garage. Again, this is all about future-proofing. It's a do-it-now while the walls are open kind of thing.
And then you get a moment like this. A real tangible win. That old, busted outdoor light fixture gets replaced with this awesome 100-watt LED lamp. And just like that, a yard that was dark for years is completely lit up. That is a massive quality of life improvement, right there.
So let's talk about the timeline. Because this simple project, well, it took a lot longer than you might think.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It really puts the whole scope creep thing into perspective.
He started this in the summer of 2021, and by November of 2022, a year and a half later, it's still not done. There were long breaks, sure, but also tons of these new side quests that popped up. And this quote just nails it. Anyone who's ever done a DIY renovation knows this feeling deep in their bones. It feels like instead of getting closer to being done, every step you take just reveals 3 more problems you didn't even know you had. The project just keeps expanding.
Which brings us to the big question, really, when you look at this whole journey from a simple wall to a full-blown electrical renovation, you have to wonder, is this a sign of bad planning? Or is this just the true nature of any renovation project? Is discovering all these hidden messes just part of the deal?